I had Justin up here, Justin Kittleson. I couldn't see
Uh-huh.
him, but I could hear him.
Oh, was he in a box?
No, he was live.
Has it been happening all day for you?
I just went live, so I updated TikTok.
Oh, I don't know. Some of my things update automatically sometimes. So I don't know if mine's updated or not.
They pushed an update out yesterday and today. But it's all good.
Yeah, no, I don't know. There was a lot of glitches the past like few days for me.
More like the last few weeks.
More like the past year. Okay.
That is true.
Yeah. Well, guys, this okay, wait. Please tell me how to say your last name. I feel like I've been butchering it and I feel horrible.
Well, you've said it two different ways, and one of the ways is right.
Raber.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, good, because that's how I've been saying it. So like it would be really embarrassing if I was saying it the other way for the
A lot of
majority.
people say a lot of people say Raber.
I know, because you don't like Raber is like, oh, we're getting a little close to something. You know what I
I know. That's why whenever I spell it out on the phone, or when somebody asks me, like when I'm on the phone, like let's say the phone company or whatever, I always say Raber, Raber.
Yeah. B-E-R. Thank you.
Exactly, Andy.
Cool. Okay. Guys, this is Jeremiah Raber. Okay. He was on the show Breaking Amish. I don't know if anybody in here has seen that. If you have, then you know him, obviously. Yeah, so kind of introduce yourself, your background, as well as how you got involved in TikTok live streaming in the first place.
Well, first of all, I was adopted when I was 1.5 years old, and I was adopted into the Amish community. And I was there until I was 19. Left for the first time. Ended up going back because of a girl, then left again. But after that, I knew the one producer on the show, Alan Byler. He was actually the creator of our show and Amish Mafia. I knew him for about 13 years because he was also adopted into the Mennonite community, and he started his own production company after he left the Mennonites. And he asked me if I wanted to be on the show, and I had to do a 2.5 hour interview, and got on. And then after the show, I just tried to stay in contact with all my people. Like I don't like to use the word fans because we're one big family now, but um, I just try to use every social media I can to
Yeah.
stay in touch with them, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's how I got on TikTok.
Okay. So when did you start? When did you start TikTok? Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like when it first came out, or
It was about 4.5 years ago is when I went live for the first time.
okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Um, well, awesome. Okay. So, okay. I love the irony of like honestly like not using like really electronics whatsoever and then from that transitioning into becoming like somebody that uses TikTok daily as like yeah, like that's your thing now. You know what I mean? Um are you happy with how life has shifted for you and what advice would you give to anybody that looks up to you and wants to do something similar?
Well, first of all, don't look up to me because I am a horrible example. But no, I don't know. It's going through life. You learn a lot of things, right? And is my life where I want it to be? No, but I'm totally content being where I'm at today. If I would sit back and just look at all the downfalls I had and everything I did wrong, I'd probably be 6 foot under. So just stay positive and keep looking forward and stay happy.
Yeah. So before this interview, before doing my research, I was not very well informed about the Amish community. Can you just give anybody in my chat that doesn't really have like a good background on the Amish community, like what kind of rules they hold, like what living there kind of entails, and being a part of it kind of entails?
Yeah, so a lot of people think all Amish are the same, but in Holmes County, Ohio, where I'm from, just that one county alone, there's 14 different levels of it. And then you go to different other communities in Ohio. Sorry if the wind noise is loud. But then you go into other communities in Ohio or other states, because there's Amish in uh, 43 states plus Canada. So they're all completely different. The strictest ones are like the movie The Witness, right, with Harrison Ford. Those are called Sports and Trooper Amish. And then the most liberal ones, which my cousin's husband, ironically, is actually the bishop in this one. They drive cars, have electricity, cell phones, everything, but they dress Amish. Now, to me, that's not Amish, but
Okay. So like the dress code is kind of the
the
same.
dress code is the dress code is completely different in each community. Like I grew up with, like the shirts we bought were from Walmart, but the all the pants were homemade. There's others that have nothing but store bought clothes. There's others that have nothing but homemade clothes. It's kind
Yeah.
of it's very very hard to say what the difference is between all of them.
Yeah. Um, so you grew up in Holmes County, Ohio, and you actually grew up living right next to what was his the was it some starts with a D. Hold on, I'm looking for your questions. Like the main church leader. What was his name? I'm sorry.
Oh, the bishop.
The bishop. Thank you. You grew up living right directly next to the bishop. Um, what did that change for you in your childhood?
All right, so let me clarify something with that one.
Okay.
On the show, I grew up next to the bishop.
Okay.
In real life, it wasn't right next to him, but it was close.
Okay. Okay.
That was production's thing.
Okay. So we're a lot of so I did you sign any NDAs
Oh
also?
yeah,
So are
yes.
they still in
I'm
effect?
no longer under contract, so
Okay. Perfect. Um, beautiful. So in general, like, do you feel like a lot of the production was like skewed to fit a type of narrative? Or do you feel like it reigned pretty true to your life and everything that was going on throughout the entire show?
so the first couple seasons there was a lot more false information put out and us doing more acting. I would say the first two seasons, first three, but after that it started becoming 85% real and the rest was manipulated drama or some bullshit lie.
Okay. Yeah. Do you feel like you were ever kind of taken advantage of by the producers?
I did in the beginning, but the last three seasons I was a co-producer, so I got a whole lot of free training. I didn't have to go to school to pay for to film school to get all the training. I got it all for free. So to me, towards the end, I felt like it was well worth it.
That's so cool. Yeah. I love that you were able to turn something like that into something that was good for you. That's awesome. And then last part about that, why was the new season canceled? What happened there?
Techn- Technically, they haven't even canceled it yet that I heard of. They asked us the beginning of last year to do another season, and for some reason, after Warner Brothers, because TLC got sold to Warner Brothers, and then after they bought it, they just kind of stopped a lot of shows. So honestly, I don't even know what the reason was.
Okay. They didn't give you anything. And they didn't even tell you that they were canceling it. They just haven't moved forward with any plans. Interesting.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm the one that said it's canceled on Facebook. So
Yeah. Right. Interesting. Um, okay, so talk about what it was like to grow up in the Amish community. I know that obviously the show dramatized things, as you said. But like, did you have any electricity? Did you have a phone? What was it like growing up in that community versus being like as an adult outside of the community?
So the Amish I grew up with was they were called New Order Amish, so it's more liberal. So, oops, somebody requesting. So I actually grew up with solar panels, and then we had like solar batteries and everything, like fridge, freezer, all that stuff was run off of the solar. We had natural gas lights. Um, I grew up with a whole lot more than most of the Amish did because of being New Order. So for me, it's the transitioning. Then also that's why that was as easy for me.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. And you said you were adopted at 1.5, right?
Correct. Yes.
So you don't remember anything from before you were adopted, right?
No, I was 9 months old when I got put into the county home because back then they didn't have foster homes. They only had like one big house for everybody.
Okay. Yeah. And then I know on the show that you mentioned that that was kind of an internal struggle for you, being adopted into an Amish household versus like, I guess somebody who's not Amish is called like an English person, like an
Correct.
English household. Does that, do you still feel that way? Did you feel that way, or was that part of the show? Um,
No, so that was actually all legit. That was all real raw feelings.
okay.
Because growing up, my mother, well, I don't like to call her mother. She adopted 5 kids, had 2 of her own. She treated her 2 that she had way better, and she told us adopted kids. She doesn't know why she even adopted us. Yeah, so I don't know. That's a little touchy
Yeah.
subject there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. So it was, uh, are there still like family struggles because of the Amish situation where I guess let's start here. Were you shunned from the Amish community because of the choices that you made on the show?
No,
No.
I'm not shunned. I'm not shunned by the Amish community. I'm shunned by my mother.
Okay.
Me and her do not get along, so I'm not welcome at their house because of her.
Okay. Interesting. So, and that's something that has still not been resolved to date. Okay.
No, probably never will.
Okay. And then the parents that did that you were estranged from before, your birth parents, do you have any like knowledge of what is going on with them? Is there any relationship there? Do you even know who they are? Um,
So, yes, I met my biological mother. Unfortunately, my biological father is not with us anymore. So my mother was married and she cheated on her husband and she slept with her sister's husband, who is my father. So my aunt, yeah, my aunt was married to my father. But when I was 9 months old, I got put into the county home. Now we can't confirm this 100%, but I believe that my father got unalived by his wife because she found out about me. And that I'm not the only one that has said that. There's other people that said that's what it is, and then there's others that say that's not the reason. So I don't know.
that's heavy. Regardless, that's heavy. That's intense. Wow. Okay. So,
Oh, and that's what that tattoo is. That's my biological last name with
okay.
day of birth and day of passing.
Okay. What about the first tattoo that you got? The bleeding heart one, or the heart and the cross, yeah.
That one.
So when you first got to New York City, why was one of at least the show portrayed it this way? Why was one of the first things that you did like go out and get a tattoo?
I'm the type of person. If it pisses off the Amish people like that, then I'll do it. And
Okay.
I wanted to go as far as I could.
Okay.
Because at that point, I was angry at him.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the anger stemming from?
It's just one thing with the Amish and Mennonites. If you're adopted and you go out and you do something you're not supposed to, the first thing they say and they stand on it is, "Oh, he's doing it because he's adopted."
Okay.
But if let's say I would have never been adopted and I would go out and do the exact same thing, they'd kind of overlook it a little more.
So do you feel like being raised in the community you were, there was almost this like expectation, even before adulthood, of like a sense of otherhood or like that maybe you wouldn't be at the expectations just solely for that fact? Like, was there some pressure even before the opportunity arose to leave the
Well, one thing one thing with the Amish, and this is just my own feelings, my own opinion, but I feel like the kids that are adopted into the Amish are held at a higher standard and they get watched a lot more than the others do.
Yeah. And you did feel like that growing up.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Another thing that I thought was interesting, like looking into it, was kind of the differences between the way that men and women are treated in the Amish community. Can you kind of like go into detail about like your personal experiences with those differences?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that are in here that have seen Amish people, especially like in town or whatever. And if you watch closely, the guy is normally one step ahead of the woman. It's the woman being supposedly being submissive, which that to me that's just wrong. You should be walking side by side, hand in hand, right? And the guys get away with a lot more stuff, whereas the women, one wrong move, they're done.
Yeah.
And that happens in almost every community.
Hmm. What about like labor wise?
So when I was growing up, almost no, I mean, I shouldn't say almost no, but I barely knew of any women, Amish women that went out and had like actually had factory jobs or whatever. But when I was that's when I was younger. But uh, now that I'm older, I see it like especially the younger generation. They're all going out there and working because there's no farms going on anymore. Barely going on anymore. So they all got to make money somehow. And if they don't have their own business at home, they're going out and working in factories and stuff. So they're changing quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. Um, in the show, it was portrayed just even straight on like the first episode, that women would cook the men's food and then kind of like watch them eat it. Was that true? Or
So yes, they would cook the food for the men for the entire family, but they don't. They, is that window is too loud?
it's fine.
If it is, I can go inside.
I wouldn't worry
But
about it. If it was bad, I would tell you.
but I've never seen a woman stand there and or sit there and just watch the men eat or the kids eat whatever. They're always the last one to get their plate.
Okay.
If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like semi-traditional, but not necessarily like I don't know. I don't know the right word.
Yeah. So let's say at a get together with the Amish, it's normally the men going first, and then the kids, and then the women.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then I guess this is like a personal question, just something that I've thought about that I really am so curious about it. And I know that you did when you first left for New York City. You were kind of in like a semi relationship where you were almost like having a prospect of getting married to this woman. Um, I am curious about like any kind of like sexual situations that go on Is it just completely shut down for everybody? Is it shamed? Is it like what kind of like because we're all human beings at the end of the day, so I am curious what that kind of looks like
So
in that
here's a fun fact about that scene that you saw.
Okay.
I never met that girl until the day I was supposed to break up with her.
What? Okay, that is a fun fact.
So the reason they did that is because all the other people on the show, they were able to film at their parents' property, at least right outside their property, and I couldn't. And so they needed a so-called reason for me to leave, or a storyline for when I leave.
Right.
So that's what they came up with.
Reality TV. I'm sure there's gonna be even more like holes that we find here,
And
but
and by the way, that scene was the very first day that I was on camera.
okay. Yeah, wow. So you didn't even like have any like experience acting or like
Nope.
anything. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. They just made this entire woman's life into that's so interesting. Okay. But so back to the other part of that question. So like what does the sexual situation look like in the community? Like is it just shamed? Is it brought up? Is it something that like don't do that, or like what does it kind of look like when you're being raised up in that community?
Well, here's the interesting thing. I grew up New Order Amish,
Okay.
and they have a strict hands-off policy
Okay.
while dating. You can't even rub shoulders.
Okay.
That you'll get in trouble for that if they catch you. But the old order, which are less, I mean, the old order, which are more strict, they actually have what they call rumspringa. So at the age of 16, they can go out and start partying, do whatever they want, and they have bed like it's what they call bed courtship, right? So on the weekend, when the guy goes on a date, he goes to that girl's place and stays for the night, sleeps in the bed. Parents don't give a crap. What happens? What happens? Happens. They don't really care.
What about like if a woman is
If a woman is what?
if a woman gets pregnant?
I mean, as long as she hasn't joined church, been baptized, they don't really say too much.
Huh. Okay, that is interesting.
Mama Deb, is the wind pretty bad? I can move inside. I just got to take the camera in and then the phone, or and
What do
then
you
the chair.
think? Is the wind too much, guys? Yes or no? Is the wind
Over
too much?
over here, they're saying yes.
Um, okay, that's so interesting.
All right, let me move it inside. Give
Okay,
me a
yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, it's kind of split over here. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no, but
All right, is that better?
yeah. Uh,
Perfect.
okay. So is there any part of you that feels like you should have stayed?
No, absolutely not. If I would have stayed, I'd be the biggest hypocrite there is
Why is that?
because I would have to pretend like I enjoy being Amish. That's who I am. When in all reality, it's not.
Okay. Um, so you didn't like when you did end up leaving, it wasn't a split decision. You had like this planned out for a long time, or was it just like an opportunity situation that you were like, okay, this is the perfect nudge that I needed?
No, I knew all along that at some point I was gonna leave.
Okay.
I totally hated it.
Okay. Yeah. So let's move on. So a lot of people that I saw talking about it on a different platform were really curious about what happened between you and Carmela.
right?
Um, yeah, so like why did it end? And there's another thing about it that I was curious about like you potentially like urinating in her food. Was that something that actually happened, or was that just
Well,
people talking on the
first of all, that's been a long time ago where that came out onto social media, and there's a reason that the videos are taken down. And second of all, or another reason right now is that I don't talk about it is her and I talk every single day. We're on good terms, and the past is the past. And if we keep looking to the past, um, we're not going to get anywhere. And also, all those people, and I understand you're just asking questions, but all those people that are asking questions, it's none of their damn business. Um, what goes on in their private life goes on in their life. What goes on in mine is my life.
Mhm.
So for those people that do want to know, like that keep talking about it, they're just miserable.
Okay.
Everybody has a past, and not there's stuff out there that's true and that's not true. So
Yeah. So you guys have like a really good relationship, like cordial relationship now.
oh yeah,
That's
yeah, we got divorced. We got divorced almost a year ago, and we talk multiple times a day.
that's so cool. I love that. I love that. So like, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but like why what was like the rift there that made you guys decide you wanted to get divorced in the first place? Was it just like not compatible or what was the
Well,
situation?
so we had split up a couple years ago, and she went and filed for divorce. I never filled out the paperwork, and then we ended up getting back together. And like pretty much every state, 2 years to the day after it gets filed, divorce goes through, and that's what happened with this.
Okay. Okay. So is there are you in a relationship with her right now?
No,
No.
um, neither one of us is in a relationship. What
Okay.
we're doing is we're taking time to ourselves. You got to learn to love yourself. You got to learn to be able to live by yourself, meaning not, what is the word that I want to use? Not depend on somebody else, right?
Mhm.
And we talk every single day. And to me, this is the way I look at it. It's almost like we're starting completely over, starting to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And if it happens in a year from now, it'll happen. If it happens in 2 years, it'll happen. But right now, both of us are just totally content the way it is.
That's awesome. I really really respect that. It's I think it's great that you guys are taking that time, especially with both of y'all's situation. It seems like maybe there were certain things that you didn't have the chance to get to like develop within yourself that now you finally have the opportunity to like grow and develop in those specific ways. And then the fact that you can still know that there is like a sense of connection there, like I think that's amazing. I think that's
I
great.
mean, I mean, let's just be real. Let's just be real. Her kids and her, they talked to me the other day. They want me to come out there in July at some point in July or August, and they want to go camping with me because I do the RV life. So
Cool.
they want to go camping with me at some point. So
Yeah, cool.
and for everybody that says that's not like that we don't talk and all this, well, just watch. You're gonna see us all together at some point.
Yeah, and more power to you. Like, I don't think just because social media or just like any media, doesn't matter, has a specific perspective or like general consensus about you does not mean that they know any of the inner workings of your actual life.
No, and there's so much I could say about all that social media, or not social media, but like the online stuff that people are seeing. There's so much I could say, but
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say is do your research. Do your research before you start believing anything.
Yes. And that's another reason why I like to do these because it's like it gives you an opportunity to be like, no, debunked. That makes no sense. Come on. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and the reason I don't talk about it is out of respect for her, and like for her and for myself. We already said that's the past. We're done talking about it.
yeah. Yeah, that's valid.
I
So,
I, I can still hear you, but I'm gonna go to the fridge get something to drink.
okay. Okay. I'll just hold off for 1 second.
I live in a camper, so the fridge isn't far away.
Oh, cool. So I did see, and like this is I do my research by looking people up on the internet. All I get to do is read what's on there. But I also do read between the lines. I'm not just gonna believe everything I see either. So I did see on another website it was talking about like substance use. Have you ever struggled with any like forms of addiction? If so, how are you with that now?
So that always cracks me up because people come in here and say, "Oh, you're still using." I say, "Well, pay for the drug test randomly. I will go and take it on a live. I will show the results on live. Was I addicted to pills back when I was 19? I'm 45 now. Absolutely, I was. But that's been 20 plus years ago. And then people are like, "Well, I can see it in your face." Well, then tell God he's failing at my looks if you think I look like I'm on something. Because I'm a brittle at 20 in 2020. This is where all these comments started coming from. 2020, I got COVID, and a lot of people don't understand this, but COVID goes after your heart, your pancreas, and all that. I became a brittle type 1 diabetic. I got heart issues, lost 50 plus pounds, can't gain it back, and high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and it's all from COVID. So trust me, I do lives where we talk actually about all this stuff, and people try to tell me use this or do this to gain weight back, right? But that's why people think I'm using, just because of
Okay.
the way I look, and then my ADHD kicking in sometimes.
Yeah. So you never struggled with addiction in general, then?
Back when I was like 21, 19, 20, 21, 22,
Okay.
but that's it.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's not something that has even affected you since then. Like,
That's not counting alcohol.
okay.
So alcohol, I was an alcoholic all the way up until 2017, and then that's when I said enough is enough. Now have I fell backwards every once in a while? Yes, but it's not like I'm drinking every night. You know what I mean?
And
It's
that's
like
fine. That's fine. Relapse is such people do not understand when it comes to addiction, relapse is a part of it. Like you are almost like statistically way more likely to relapse than not to. And it's just part of it and it's part of growth. It's part of human growth. So,
yep,
yeah, there's no like if people want to judge people for that, then they need to look in the mirror. You know what I mean?
100%.
So, um okay. And like currently, are you like clean? Are you, yeah, exactly. Recovery is not linear. Exactly. Are you like, do you have like a chip? Like where are you at with everything like to
I'm
date?
good. Other than every once in a while, I'll take a little sip or something, but that's it.
Okay. Okay. Um, so talk a little bit about what it was like going to New York City off on your own. Um, like just the transition of everything for you. Just kind of talk about, I mean, how you felt, like what kinds of changes you felt. Because I think a lot of people can see the shock value in going from this type of lifestyle to that type. So just kind of talk about like your experiences with that.
Well, for those of you who did watch the show, and you saw that first step out of the train station into New York City, and you saw my reaction, you heard what I said. I think that speaks for itself. But for the ones who didn't, um, well, I don't know if I can. I was mind effed, mind fucked. Okay, sorry about my language, but like it was nothing but concrete everywhere you looked.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never been to New York City before that. I've been in other cities, but nothing that compares to that, right? And I don't know, it just stepping out of there, out of the train station, just seeing all that, and then it was just freedom. Like I was like I can do whatever I want here, and unfortunately, I did a little too much with the drinking.
Hmm. Yeah. And what about the group of friends that you had that were with you?
Yep.
What I noticed, and I once again, I don't know how the show skews certain things, but what I noticed was that they kind of stuck together, like in the beginning, and you just kind of like went your separate way. Like you just bought some clothes, like you got a tattoo, like you didn't want to like you just wanted to
Well,
be more independent and almost like rebellious. Um, is am I right by saying that
well,
or
try walking through New York City with Amish clothes on.
right?
It feels
Absolutely.
like you're a zoo animal. People staring at you.
Yeah.
The comments that we were getting,
Hmm.
horrible comments, right? And I went to New York City to have fun, not to walk around with the Amish clothes on.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Was the tattoo like a way of you saying like I don't want to be a part of this group anymore?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Okay.
Are you talking about like the other cast members
No, not about the other cast
or
members.
with the
Like
Amish?
right. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Um so today um what are your like religious beliefs and what kinds of things do you how do you feel about like religion, about God? Like do you have a relationship with God? Um yeah.
I can't sit here if I see. I talk about this exact thing on my live sometimes. I cannot stand when people hide behind the religion or Christian or whatever faith they have, but they don't live that lifestyle. So for me to sit here and say that you know, I'm religious, no, I don't, because my life does not reflect that. No, that would make me a liar and a hypocrite again, right? So, I mean, I don't really have any religious beliefs. Do I believe that God is real? 100%. Do I believe? Okay, so when you're in a relationship, you're either in love or you just love the person. That's two different things.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're going to be really true to your religion, whatever it is, you're going to be in love with the God that is in that religion, right? I can sit here and say, oh, I love Jesus or I love God, or I can say I'm in love because when you're in love, you go above and beyond to do whatever you can to make that person happy.
Okay. Okay. So it's more like the traditional behaviors within the religious belief system versus that feeling of connection. Is that kind of what you're
Somewhat, somewhat. But to answer your question, no, I'm not religious. I just try to live my life to the best of my ability and the way I think is no.
yeah. And how do you think the background that you have has shaped your like perspectives on your can we call it spirituality, I guess, or
There you go. Now I can see it better.
nice. Freedom.
So
Love it.
freedom. I mean, freedom is everything, right?
Yeah.
We too many people don't appreciate the freedom they have. And here's the crazy part about this background. People come in and like, oh, you're a Trump supporter. No, I just love my country. That's it. That's what that stands for. Last I knew, the eagle with freedom is for the country, not a person. Or freedom is everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I think I mean, everybody has their values, but I can clearly see how that's important to you. Um, okay. What are your future plans? Do you think that, so I guess the show has not technically been canceled. Do you think
Right.
that that's going to take place? Do you have any speculation on that? Um, yeah, let's start there.
I personally don't think they're bringing the show back because production is too involved with other stuff. They kind of moved away from reality shows, so I don't think they'd even be interested in coming back now because TLC waited too long. As far as moving forward, I do have a manager. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of Comic Cons, meet and greets. Well, because I have a children's book on Amazon. Um, I'm going to be doing book signings and all that too this summer, so got a whole bunch of stuff planned.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you about, like what you're excited about right now, like up and coming. That's so fun. A children's book. What is
Yep.
that? I mean, is that already like released? Has that come out already?
Yeah, it's been on there for what 4 years, I think.
Okay.
Called a
Cool.
day. It's called A Day in the Life of an Amish Kid.
That's so fun. I love that. I love that. I didn't even see that. Um, that's awesome. Okay. Um, yeah, and so the book signing, is there anything else that you're like excited about coming up?
So the book signings, I'm gonna be doing Comic Cons, meet and greets. See, I love meeting the people that got me to this point. The people that watched the show, they're the ones that got me to the point where I'm at. Right? Even though I'm not this rich and famous. I mean, I don't like. I'm not a celebrity. Okay, I hate the word celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. Anybody that has done nothing but reality TV is not a celebrity, and if they call themselves one, they're delusional. Now, famous means well known. Our show airs in 132 countries, so I can call myself famous. But I don't know. I like meeting the people that got me to this point, right? And also being on the show. Production has no idea how much they helped me in my own life personally.
Yeah.
Overcome a whole lot of things.
Yeah. And then, so you did kind of refer to like certain holes in the plot, even like in the first episode, things that weren't actually real or accurate, but just
Right.
portrayed to be so for the plot. What other like major storylines were falsified just for like the entertainment value of the show?
So the number one, well, I shouldn't say no, is it number one? Like you always see these new kids being brought into the show. They're like, oh, I've never worn a bathing suit. I've never been to the beach. I've never. A lot of the Amish kids go to Florida. They have seen a beach. A lot of the Amish wear bathing suits. You know, the women they wear bathing suits and lay out in the sun. So don't sit there and lie to me. I've gotten into arguments with productions many times on that. But it's every time a new person got brought onto the show, they had to act like they've never worn jeans or bathing suits or
Okay. Yeah.
this is dumb because most of these kids they're going through Rumspringa, so they're already experiencing this stuff. But production didn't want to see it that way.
Yeah. Do
They
you
literally
do you see
they
that as
thought
harmful? Like do you see that as like the stereotype aspect of it? Like do you see that as harmful?
no, I wouldn't say it's harmful. No,
Okay. Just like kind of annoying.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then how many of your friends, like genuine people that you were friends with in the community, have also like left the community?
I don't even know. I've lost contact with all of them
Really?
for the
Okay.
most part. For the most part, when I talk to somebody, it's either the people that my very small group that I have today, or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I'm always live streaming because my family's on here.
Were any of the people from the show on TikTok now?
I know Abe and Rebecca have a TikTok. Esther has a TikTok, which Esther's Abe's sister. She has a TikTok, but they barely go live.
Okay. Have you ever seen them on live?
Oh yeah, Yeah,
Okay.
I do battles with them every once in a while.
Okay, that's fun. And is that enjoyable for you? Like, is it triggering or just cool?
Well, I mean, they're the ones that were on the show with me,
Yeah.
so they also left, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lot in common there. But yeah, Abe, Beck, and Esther honestly are the only ones I talked to from the show. The
Yeah.
rest were simply coworkers.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then Mama Mary from the show passed away about a month and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And then somebody was curious about the lyrics that you do for music.
Okay,
Yeah.
what does one know?
Um, so or do you make music? Do you write music? Is that
I don't like to say that I write music. I write poems, and I've done multiple ones on while I was live. And I had people up in the boxes, and I was sitting there doing, doing my thing. But I, I I upload it to an app, AI app, which a lot of people know you can do, and then it puts music to it. But as far as the lyrics itself, yes, I am the one who writes them.
that's so fun. I love that. Yeah, I have a friend that does that too. It's cool.
Yeah, I love
Um,
writing.
do you mind if my chat asks you a few questions?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. Do you paint?
I do paint.
What do you paint?
I mean, it's all on canvas. I do spray paint and I do brush paint,
Okay, nice.
and I sell them. I sell my paintings on here.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Somebody's wondering what made you leave in the first place.
Control.
Okay.
Nobody's going to tell me what to do, and that's what they do. They tell you who to be, how to dress, where you can go, where you can't go, and that's not me.
Mhm. He says he hates the Amish lifestyle. Why? And I'd say it's probably a similar answer.
I mean, I personally, I hate the Amish lifestyle. I don't. I can't say that I hate the Amish, right? I
Right.
hate the lifestyle,
Yes.
but I just don't like being told who to be.
Yeah. Especially when, I mean, you were adopted, so then there was also this extra added layer of pressure that you felt. And
Yep.
there's
And
already this, like, I don't even know if I belong in the first place because of that. Like, being adopted is, I mean, it's different for everyone.
and just because I don't agree with the lifestyle, or whatever, I've had many conversations with kids that that they were thinking about leaving. I mean, I shouldn't call them kids because they're adults, but to me, they're kids because they're a lot younger. Uh, like I've had conversations with them, and I tell them, make sure it is what you want to do. Don't leave just because somebody tells you to leave. If you want to stay Amish, stay Amish. If you want to leave, leave.
Yeah, no, for sure. Being authentic is so hard though too, in like this world where it's confusing. Like it can be so confusing, especially the younger version of you. Um,
I guess I can call them kids because my daughter's 20, so
okay, yeah. Is mental health as big of an issue in the Amish community as it is outside of the Amish community?
that's an interesting topic there. There's so many different places where they force the people. They actually force the people to go to these places, right? It's almost like a nut house in a way. First thing they do is they put you on medication. They force you. If if they're taking you there, you have no choice, and you're going to be put on medication guaranteed or the minute you walk in. So they just think if somebody has any kind of mental or not like mental health issues, they're psycho.
Okay, so is it almost like repressed more often then?
Oh yeah, it
Okay.
happens a lot.
Okay. And sometimes are like breaking rules confused or skewed to be perceived as mental health issues?
Depends on what it is. Yes.
Okay, that's tricky. That's interesting. Somebody's wondering if you leave Amish, can you go back?
You actually can. Um, like I was baptized before I left, but then I started going to like a Mennonite church, right?
Mhm.
So if you go from Amish to Mennonite, well, I shouldn't say all Amish. The Amish I grew up with, the New Order Amish to the Mennonite, you don't get shunned, right? And then if you leave from there, well, you're out of the Amish hand. Like the Amish have nothing to do with it again. So I could go back anytime I want, and they already told me they would pay to rid of all my tattoos,
Okay,
but
interesting.
it ain't happening.
Yeah. Well, that I mean, you're being yourself with that. Somebody said, ask about Sabrina and him. Was that acting?
That was not acting. No,
No. Okay.
no. Season one we had a thing. Season two, by the end of season one, she pushed me away. By season two, I hated her, and she wanted to get with me,
Oh.
and I
Push it.
said no. Pretty much, we don't
Yeah.
talk. We don't talk anymore.
The chase is such an interesting human phenomenon in relationships. Like, why do we want what we can't have? Like, why?
Yeah.
um, Somebody said, why was he in a dress and how that affected his persona on TikTok? Wait, what? Were you? I'm
Glad you
confused.
brought that up because I'll put the photo up for you.
Okay. Oh, I can't see anything. I don't know if it's because of the update, and I also can't hear you. Okay, I can see. Yeah, still once again. Dang it. Can you guys see him right now or hear
No,
him?
no, I'm getting the photo. When I'm getting the photo, you can't see me.
Oh, okay. I thought you. It was like the.
No, no, give me 1 second.
Okay. I thought it was the actual like effect, the photo effect didn't work because of the update. Okay. So beautiful, Katie.
That's right. So there's a story behind that.
Okay.
My cousin, who is on here on the app, had a birthday. He wanted to do a birthday battle. So he said, let's do a dress up battle. So that's the way I dressed up.
Cool.
I'm straight as an arrow. But you know what? The hate that I got and the attention that it got me, I'll wear another dress in a heartbeat just to show how ignorant people are.
So what are your plans tomorrow
Live stream.
with the dress?
I have to go get another one.
Okay. I'm sure there's a thrift shop where you can get one for like a few bucks that fits and looks
I
cute.
could.
Um, okay. Ask him if Mary drank while she was in the community.
Nonstop.
Okay.
She drank vodka nonstop. Even on the show, if you saw her with a cup in her hand, it was straight vodka.
Okay. Um, Guys, let's do three more good questions, guys. Three more good questions. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this with me.
Oh, not a problem.
How are you coping with Mama Mary's passing?
I keep myself busy because she was like a mother to me. She was more like a mother to me than my actual mother was, like my adopted mother. And you know, I unfortunately I didn't go to the funeral because I don't do funerals. I like to remember people the way I saw them last, and I knew if I would go, I'd come back a drunk again. So, for my own sanity, I had to. Well, yeah, I mean, I just stay alive. Either live on here or I'm painting or doing something.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Are you living in a camper because you chose to, or was there another reason, like it was just easier, cheaper, something like that?
I owned a house in Ohio. I
Okay.
didn't have to sell it. I sold it. It's my
Okay.
choice to be in this camper.
Cool.
See, a lot of people don't understand why I live in a camper. You can go on vacation. You have to worry about what's going on in your house or apartment, or is everything okay?
Real.
And then you have to go back to that place, right? Me, if I want to go somewhere, my house is behind me because I pull it with my truck. If I don't like my neighbors, I can pack up and leave. If I go to a place and I love it, I can stay. I have no worries. It doesn't like I stay on BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management, state property, so I can stay for free. So I'm actually saving a lot more money than anybody else is in here.
I don't see why people are like judgmental of that. It doesn't really make
Oh,
sense. It's
there's a lot of
I
judgmental people
even
on that.
think that question is almost a leading question. Like, are you living there, or like was it your choice to live there or not? Like, I think regardless, it was a choice. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason that you did it though. Like, you if you wanted to say
100%.
or whatever the reason was, I mean, that's your own volition. So
I was staying on my friend's property in Florida, had a free place to stay there, but I wanted to travel. That's why I'm in Arizona.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Did you pay for the camper and your truck, or did somebody else? That's what someone's wondering.
So I did have a little bit of help with the camper, but it is what it is. Everybody needs help.
Yeah,
And
once again, not for anyone else to judge, so.
no,
uh, yeah, let's see. How often do you drink?
last one was what I just started getting those tiny little bottles, those tiny little ones. So the
Like,
last one I had was Mama Deb. What was it? A week ago?
yeah,
Something like that.
I drank last night, so.
Mama Deb. No, Mama Deb. That 4 weeks ago. That's when I was on favorite it. But it was like a week ago when I had that tiny little bottle. But it's more like wine is what it is.
Mhm,
It's not the liquor stuff. You know what I mean?
mhm. Guys, let's do one more question. One more good question. Right, Matthew? Um, have you seen Abe, Rebecca, or Katie lately?
I did see Abe, Rebecca, Esther, Mary, and Chester on Thanksgiving of last year.
Nice. Nice.
No, it is a puzzle piece.
I did have like so I was reading this because I wasn't able to like watch 4 seasons in like 2 days or something, but um so people were talking about what happened between Conrad and Belly. Is that something that you like? I don't know. I
That
just
must be
read.
a different. That must be a different
Okay.
show.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I don't know who that was. Let me see if I missed any questions. Sometimes I miss them and then I'm like upset with myself. Um, yeah, I think that was everything. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Listen. I've done interviews where people weren't as respectful, so I appreciate it.
Well, that's unfortunate, but I think we should all just be like respectful to everybody. But
Everybody needs to have the mindset that, and I speak to myself after every live, like before I end every live, and I always say the same thing: stay positive, keep looking forward, because that's the only way you're ever going to get anywhere in life.
yes,
So
exactly. And it's like I don't know you, but like obviously the internet's gonna have like these perceptions of you, but that shouldn't change mine unless it's something that it's like if you're sitting here blatantly like excusing behaviors that were really bad and it's just I don't know, like there's a difference. I get to form my own opinion though. The
oh,
internet's not
absolutely.
gonna do that for me. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So yeah.
Everybody has a right to their opinion.
Absolutely. Well, let me know if you ever want to battle. You seem really cool, and I appreciate your time. So,
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
all right. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Thanks. You have a blessed night as well.